Or you can do better than that. We can close this budget workshop down and go on back to the house. I'm gonna try it again. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, thank you. We're here this afternoon to look at some budgets and work out some things, hopefully. I always start the workshop by saying, we 99% know what you need, but we 99% are certain that we can't give you everything you need. So we don't want you to think that we are beating on anyone or whatever. We try to do the same thing across the board because you gotta be fair. And our steps on that, being fair. But we wanna help everybody, but we can only do a certain amount. At this time, it is 4 o'clock, and we're gonna call this budget workshop to order. First, we have Mr. Tim Kramer from Jasper Regional Youth Baseball, our lead. And this don't look like Mr. Kramer.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. My name is actually Taylor Malphurs. I serve on the board for the Jasper Region Baseball Committee. For those of you that don't know me, I was born and raised pretty much and raised my whole life. Mother and father is Shane and Kendall Malphurs. Kendall worked for the chamber. I participated in all youth sports, throughout my life here in Ridgeland. Being Ridgeland Tigers back with football and with JRYB, T-ball all the way through Pony League. This was my first year on the board. I know y'all have a lot of important stuff to go over today, so I'll keep this brief. But if you'll notice on page 1 of the PowerPoint printout, repaired for 2021. When I started, the field was just the fields themselves. The complex, for the most part, was okay, but there were some items that had to be attended to immediately. One being the irrigation system. There were heads busted all throughout the fields that we had to repair. Also, the well went out. That was also a repair that we had to take care of, along with replacements in the concession stand areas, the freezer and the refrigerator for the drinks, etc. Total repair cost on that was right at $8,000. Other expenses on page, you'll see on page 3, catcher's gear, equipment, jerseys, balls and tees for the players for all levels, minors, majors, T-ball, Pony League, and softball, players insurance and registration, field insurance, umpires, as of right now, and lining the fields. That overall, plus the repairs we had to make this year, put our overall 2021 budget at $21,981.63. We still have upcoming expenses that we haven't incurred yet. Pony League's still playing, which we have to hire umpires for that. We have All-Stars coming up, jerseys and patches for Coach Pitch, majors and minors. We have to order still, and also one team is pretty much guaranteed to go to state. So additional expenses for that will be incurred as well. That's not included in that 21. Our baseball fields, you'll see on page 4, just the main sign as you walk in, the JRYB Volunteer Park, it's in bad shape. You'll see continuing on to the next page, along with the entrances, the foul poles and the fence lines. A lot of them are bent up from the bottom, allowing access underneath a lot of the fences. All the paint are gone off of the foul poles, a lot of moss growing. There's just a lot of things that need to be done to try to get it looking nice. Gates are coming apart on entrances. There's 3 total, I believe. Doors in the dugouts won't close properly, just small items like that. One of the biggest things that we really could use and really appreciate is the scoreboards. There's 4 of them total, and neither of them work. We've tried to repair them, but due to the age of them and the wear and tear, they're irreplaceable. And without scoreboards, we can't host All-Stars, which we've been asked to host All-Stars and tournaments before, which I think it would be a great thing for the county, good exposure. We can't host them without functional scoreboards, so that's another item. And just the yellow corrugated fence border that goes along the exterior of the fences, that's another thing that would really just it's very small, but it is one detail that would really make the park pop. On the second to last page, we added in some fields near our area, Oscar Frazier Park and Bluffton Collins Sports Complex, just to kind of give an idea, you know, of the difference in the way those look and the way ours look. Now, the budget per county, I don't know. Theirs may be a lot higher than ours, I'm sure. I believe the budget that we had this year was $4,000, being where our budget is at 21, and it's still not yet complete with Pony League and All-Stars still going. If there was any possible way we could get that around 40,000, we would be greatly appreciated. It's a lot. We have 6 board members. We're out there 24/7 during the season, just doing everything we can for the kids. You know, I grew up here and I participated in it. I played in it in JRYB my whole life, and I really think it's a staple in the community. I know Jasper's growing, and it's growing fast. I know Farino Homes is putting 2,400 homes or more, it could be, in Jasper County alone. And a lot of people like to, especially families with children, and children, in my opinion, you know, they're the future. And they flock to the youth sports opportunities in their county. And, you know, if everything else in Jasper County is growing, you know, homes are being built to try and get people to come to Jasper County. I feel like just doing what we can to help, you know, upgrade our facilities and attract people to stay in Jasper County and play their youth sports in Jasper County, you know, would be a extremely beneficial move. And anything y'all could do to help or assist, we'd be greatly appreciated. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Do anyone have any questions for Mr. Malphus?
Yes, question.
Yes, sir.
We know that you have submitted a budget here, but you have not shared with us any specifics. How should we respond to, for an example, on page, you said 3, your pages are not numbered, but let's just say page 3 of the expenses for 2021?
Yes, sir.
Your jerseys for all teams.
Yes, sir.
How many teams? 10 teams?
That
15
includes,
teams?
well, right now we have 3 minor teams. So 3 minors, we had 3 majors. We had 5 T-ball, so we're looking at 8, 9, 10, 11. We had 3 softball, 12, 13, 14, 1 Pony League team, 15, and coach pitch we had 4, so 19 total teams we had this year. We actually had a really good turnout, but that was the total budget, or that's what it cost us to get the jerseys for all teams.
Yeah, we clearly understand that, but do you understand what we're saying to you in terms of not giving us the information so that we could respond?
You want an itemized?
Responsibly to you in terms of what we can do opposed to what we cannot do? I
understand completely, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't put this slide together. Our other board member, Ms. Summer Reynolds, put it together for you. So I apologize for there not being an itemized number per category. She tried to put it together as best she could in the best itemized fashion she could, but I can certainly get that for you. But
I think it would be helpful in our deliberation.
Absolutely.
In terms of what we might be able to do for the team.
Okay.
If anything.
Okay. I'll be happy to get that. Yes, sir.
I want to ask a question. You say you got about 19 teams.
Right now.
How much do y'all charge for each player?
I think the application fee is $100. I think is what it is.
It's what?
100.
$100 a player.
Mm-hmm. I'd have to go back and pull it up. Got it.
$100 a player. So you're looking at about 12 to 15 kids on each team.
Yeah, we average about 10 to 12.
About 10 to 12. So you're looking at about 200 head of kids. $100.
I say it's $100. I have to go back and look at the application, which I have. It's just back at my seat. I could grab this.
Where is this park? Where do you go?
Where's the park, the facilities at?
Yeah.
Right behind the old high school here.
High school.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Behind the old high school. What's the field? Justin, if you belong.
I could be way off on that application.
Cool.
Yeah, I was off. I'm thinking of it's actually $50.
Huh?
It's $50 with a completed registration form per child. Yep. I apologize. I've got a couple of different things going on with registration forms. I think I confused one with the other.
That sounds right. You have any question, Mr. Kemp?
Yes. Since I'm new, so I'm going to ask some questions. What's your relationship to Jasper County, just as an organization?
My relationship? Well,
Well, the JRYB, is that a separate organization, or is
yeah, it's a separate organization just ran by volunteers.
Okay. Number two is, whose field is that? Your field?
We actually lease it from the county.
You have to lease it from the county. Okay. Can you tell me what that lease is?
Oh, that I do not know. Okay. Apologize. I do know we had it for 10 years, and I think we were on year 8. I think it runs out in 2 years, that lease.
Have you ever considered what would be the reasons for the county charging you to really develop their students or the children here in the county? Why would they charge you to lease the field?
No, I mean, we've never really, I mean, like I said, I'm new on the board, but to my knowledge, we've never really asked that question. You're asking me why the county would charge us to help develop the youth? Is that what you're asking?
It seems to me that if it is for the development of the children of the county.
Right.
And the county is responsible for its citizenry,
Yes, sir.
why should they charge you for kids who don't have any funds?
I got you. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Well, I mean, that's a great question.
Certainly, we afford the development of our children.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the numbers that you're asking of, I could probably get, but off the top of my head, I don't have all the answers for you. But I do know it is volunteer for all of us on the board, and we're just doing it to give an opportunity to the children to come out and play. And obviously, we have to charge an application enrollment fee, to play, just to keep, so we can provide them with the right equipment and the proper stuff that they need to play it, to the best of their ability and enjoy it.
Are the volunteers compensated financially in any way?
No, sir.
No.
100% volunteer only. And we spend a lot of time with them and out there. I personally have gone out there and have changed irrigation heads for a couple hours on separate Saturdays myself, just on my own time. I've gone out there and just done some maintenance, landscape maintenance things, just different things to try to clean it up. We did have to pay out of pocket to get the well fixed so that we can get the irrigation up and running, and then we had to pay for the new irrigation fixtures to go in to get the water adequately irrigated so that the grass would live and lining the fields, etc. It's all just 100% volunteer. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Kramer, do you have, excuse me, Madam Chairman, do you have a copy of that lease?
I do. One of the previous board members has it, the digital copy. I can get it and forward it to whoever.
I would like to see that.
Okay.
Just.
I can get that.
Well, I can tell you, I haven't seen that lease or know about it, but I can tell you, you use water out there, you use lights out there, you use air conditioning in the box out there. So I'm quite sure it's not a huge amount that they are paying for a lease.
Yeah.
And,
I'm sorry.
And they got to pay something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, it's a lease with the county. Since it's a county lease, I'll get it provided all.
Thank you. I appreciate
Okay.
it.
I'm not, Madam Chairman, I'm not looking at the money, really. I'm just looking at to see what it's like.
Okay,
Well, I appreciate your time.
thank you for coming.
Yep, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
At least, but it's not a whole lot. Okay,
Thank you.
but, Sheriff Hip, Jasper County Sheriff Department.
Thank you. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Myself and Chief Deputy Crosby come before you in reference to the 2021-2022 budget for the Jasper County Sheriff Office. I think we provided each one of you with a binder that may have an overlay of what we're dealing with and what we're talking about. Does everyone have that?
We have what you,
Provided.
sent, but it's not
It's-
in the binder.
Oh, you have?
You have it.
Okay. There are some new line items we included into the budget. We didn't change much. As you can see, in regards to the victim witness program, there was nothing that, we didn't change anything in regards to that, so that remained the same. There are several new line items that we included into this new budget. And the new line item, I'll start with the first one is new personnel. And that new personnel is in conjunction with the personnel for the airport. I know y'all talked about that in length as well, the new position for the airport. We haven't broken down on what it would cost, starting deputy salary, along with fringe and benefit, down to the cost of the vehicle, uniforms and everything else. That total, from what I'm looking at, is $134,216.43. Please keep in mind, that's just for one particular officer to, and I'm pretty sure that it's gonna take at least 2 officers to work the airport. You know,
Two.
it's going, well, the breakdown I have is just 1. It may be 2, y'all may have in mind, but the way we broke it down, we only include, you know, that's what the cost for 1 officer. The two would be excellent. The next line item is the new vehicles, in which indeed, looking at the new vehicle costs, we requested 42 vehicles, if I'm not mistaken, which came up to a total of $1,392,342. We also have in that pamphlet or the package you have, it has it broken down for the equipment and everything else. That includes the equipment and everything else in each one of those vehicles. But if you have any questions, I'll try my best, my ability to answer it. If I can't answer it, I'm pretty sure Chief Crosby will answer it because he worked on that diligently. The next line item is the capital outlay. A capital outlay is the new technologies that's coming into the world today. It's the body camera and taser that's combined together, which indeed this is the first time this has ever happened. Normally you have your body camera and your taser, but with this new capital outlay, body camera and taser system, once you remove that taser from its holster, everybody that's in the surrounding area, if everybody, say for instance, everybody in this office or in this room had on a body camera, if I remove the taser from my holster, everybody in this room, camera will automatically activate. So, and that's just not for the county itself. Hardyville is integrated in the system. We're waiting to hear from the city of Richmond as well. So therefore, you know, it would give us different views of what's taking place when that officer is in the presence of other officers. Employee evaluation and screening. We asked for that. That's a new line item. Prior to sending officers up to the academy and on taxpayer dollar, what we've done on new hiring, we put them through a phase of tests. First, you take a written test, which comes from the academy. It let us know whether or not you'll be qualified to pass the academy written test. Second, you'll go through a physical agility test. That test let us know whether or not you're physical enough to go through the academy as well. After you have taken those 2, we give you an offer letter. The offer letter doesn't indicate that you're hired as of yet. After the offer letter, it's just saying that we're offering you a job, but after that, you have to take a polygraph examination, what lets us know whether or not you're very truthful on, your background and past history of yourself. And after the polygraph, we send you up to Charleston for a psych evaluation test. Let us know whether or not if there's something there we need to be concerned about. Employee, the next line item, last line item is the equipment for narcotic equipment, narcotic equipments, which we're asking for $12,000 for. And those equipment is to help our narcotic division, undercover officer, with better equipped equipment. Right now, we're borrowing equipment from other agencies such as SLED, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, and Hardeeville Police Department. We also have another line item on there, which is media services. This helps us get the message out to people of what's going on throughout the county that law enforcement is involved in. Not only that, we're advertising for employment services. Once we have an opening within the department, which indeed I think everybody here knows that we're about 16 officers down, and we're working on that diligently. And the Crime Task Force is an organization that we're working along with Hardeeville, the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office, and hopefully Richmond Police Department along with SLED and other federal agencies to put together and working together and solving some of these cases and working on the drug cases here in Jasper County. Those are the new line items. I'll be glad to take any questions in regards to any of the things the budget has.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
question. Sheriff, what do you mean by integrating Hardeeville and the town of Region officers into your TASER program? What does that mean?
Meaning that the system itself is integrated, and they're looking to go into it as well. Therefore, the Jasper County Sheriff Office is in the presence of Hardeeville Police Department and Richmond Police Department, and either one of those officers should happen to deploy their TASER, everybody who's around body camera would automatically activate.
Okay, do they have to agree to be a part of this plan?
They have to, and we've already talking with Chief Woodward in regards to it. He's in plans to getting his officers up to date on this as well.
Okay. Do you have any who is in opposition at this point?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, anybody? Mr. Kemp, you have
Madam
any?
Chairman? On the cars, you have down sedans and SUVs. And I'm not mistaken, there's no difference in buying SUVs or sedans, correct? It's one cost for both, either one?
I think the SUVs are a little higher than the cars, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. Well, then that stops that. And how many, does all your sheriff deputies have a car?
Yes, sir.
So, and how many is if you had everybody and you were fully staffed, how many people would you have?
Roughly about 52, 53, if I'm not mistaken.
53.
Yes. But please keep in mind, there's a vehicle assessment form in there too, because majority of our vehicle has well over 100,000 miles.
Right, which comes out to something that I keep on saying is, in your dialogue, you say about 4,000 miles per month.
Roughly.
Roughly, okay, 4,000 miles. Could be more, could be less.
Correct.
I think when I talk to your deputies, a little bit more. But anyway, and we have a large area. So and you said that a safe vehicle is between 80 and 120,000.
Safe?
Meaning that excuse me, I shouldn't say that. You're saying that in the dialogue that between 80 and 120 is what you like to have.
Yes, that's
Being safe.
Because shortly thereafter, it's time to turn them over. Yes, sir.
So if it's 120, That means at 3 years, you're gonna be hitting 120.
It all depends.
Okay.
It all
So-
depends on what job performance that officer is doing. Take, for example, a school resource officer.
So do you,
He or she don't go out as often as a road officer may do.
rotate cars?
Their cars, no. Once it's assigned to that officer, it's assigned to that officer, unless he or she leaves.
Now, I don't know if who's doing the leasing or with the enterprise? Is it us or you?
No, that's something I think Ms. Burgess may, I think it's the
The
county.
question I have is, we have maintenance included in there. What is the maintenance?
The maintenance is not included with the insurance.
They're not included with this.
It does not, they can get a card, and they can take that card along with the vehicle to.
The dealership.
If it's a Ford.
Yeah.
They'll take it to the dealership, and they will get discounted pricing, but I believe because of the mileage, et cetera, those maintenance. The same thing that we have on the other vehicles as far as the maintenance program are not included.
As a follow-up to that, is maintenance, do you have any of your cars going to any shop other than the dealership for maintenance?
There are some we had, that we get the approval through maintenance. Ms. Lassiter, Dallas Lassiter, we get the approval through her. Matter of fact, we just had a Chevrolet truck that they were not able to perform the services on, that they informed us to take it to Mike Rickenbacker Chevrolet, and that we did, and I think that bill was $5,000. But with this maintenance contract, my understanding from speaking with the lease, the manager of the lease program, he informed me that there's a discount in that as well. Not only is it a discount, once you present that card and it shows the vehicle is on the lease, put you in front of the list, like you first priority, because there's a, what they call first responder vehicle.
And the other aspect of that is that there's a software program that lets you know when it's up for routine maintenance, like oil change or those kind of things. So we become aware of that and are able to do that routine maintenance on a regular basis rather than, sometimes we don't get it in there for the oil change.
Okay, but is it cheaper to go to the dealership or to a local maintenance shop?
It doesn't necessarily have to be the dealership, but because there are other local, there are other maintenance shops that the enterprise has contracts with, but we discussed taking it to the dealers because of the discounted price. But there are others, I don't know how many are local for us with that discounted price. Doesn't necessarily have to go to the dealership.
Yeah, but I would be interested in knowing,
But
even with the discount, would it be cheaper to go to a local opposed to the dealership?
we could look at that.
It is wiser,
Pardon?
it is wiser and safer, because right now, if you carry your car, if your car is under warranty or whatever, and you take it to somebody here in Ridgeland, and you don't take it to the dealership,
You may end up spending more.
Right, but those that are not on a warranty,
Right. So,
those are the one I have reference to. But
Well,
of
it
course,
should-
if they're under warranty, you would take them back to the dealership. But those that are not under warranty, is it cheaper?
now,
Go ahead, sure.
Yeah.
those that are not under warranty right now would not be a part of the lease program anyway, so they wouldn't be in the maintenance with the car. It would only be the new vehicles that come from Enterprise that are replacing current vehicles. Say they have 50 vehicles and we replace 25, 25 would be under the Enterprise. The older 25 would not be included as I understand it. So they would be, could go anywhere essentially until they get replaced the next time, the next year. So it's an ongoing program until we get all of the vehicles replaced, and then periodically 3 to 5 years, they'll be replaced with new
Okay,
vehicles.
do you have an agreement with any of the shops?
Not that I'm aware.
We do not. I know there were.
Maintenance, doesn't our
Well,
maintenance
county
department-
maintenance has-
County
yeah,
maintenance
yeah,
do the
but-
cars.
We got a meeting in the shop.
Well, we have a maintenance shop, but
Yeah.
if county maintenance tells us to take this vehicle a certain location here in town, that's what we do.
Right.
But we first take it to county maintenance.
Right.
We have them evaluate the vehicle. They look it over. If they can do the work, they will do the work. Otherwise, they may have to contract it out.
See that in the past, the county maintenance shop, used to take care of all the vehicle, oil change, rotor, brake, tire rotation, balance of tires, and they still do that, you know, but just like Ms. Kim said, like the one that on the lease, you have to carry them to the one with the lease at, because you can break that warranty, or they mess on and work on it, saying can it to the shop to save money. And once that lease is being broken, be in trouble, then we're gonna have to eat that, because then they're gonna say you caused that problem. You know, so
That's right.
the one that not on the lease, with Jeff being the shop manager, he gets to fix all that. You know, the brake chain rotation of the rotors and everything else go to our maintenance shop. That means we don't
Change
have to
the
go
oil.
hunt nobody else, because we pay a man to be to that shop every day. You know, the only difference I see that he need help.
How you,
You know, because when he got to go out on the road to fix a tractor or whatever, or
Yeah.
change the tire, nobody to the shop but Ms. Dollars, and she can't change no oil or nothing. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, 'cause, I dealt with the shop
Go
over
ahead
18
on
years,
about
you know,
your
so I pretty much can
business.
tell
I'll talk to you
what's been going on around here. You know.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Berger, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think with the maintenance program on the new lease vehicle, everything will be worked on except for tires. I think we
Okay.
have to replace our own tires, correct? So everything else
Okay.
from
okay,
bumper to bumper is pretty much
Right.
covered under that
Okay.
maintenance warranty.
all right.
The
Love you too.
warranty,
Under that maintenance.
warranty.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not, so, and how long is the warranty? 3 years? 200,000 miles or 100,000 miles?
I don't know, we'll have to look at them.
I mean, I'm just asking, because,
One's a warranty, but one's a maintenance.
Maintenance contract,
program.
yeah, program.
Contract. So they're two different, really two different.
Madam Chairman, one more question.
One more.
When you put your lights on, do you have to drill into the body, or do you have non-invasive equipment?
You took the blue lights,
Well, the lights, when you,
the light bar?
in my history is of doing other places, they always went from, they would drill holes in it, and then they decided that they weren't gonna do that anymore because the cost of returning in the vehicle was exorbitant. Because they would have to either fill it or take a hit on it. Do you know if your lights are drilled in, or are they, just placed on top and then you tie them down?
From my understanding, when you buy this vehicle and they're police equipped, those are designed to have all the wiring and whatnot that you just need to
Okay.
attach the equipment to. We won't have to do any drilling because they do.
They do
I
all.
mean, they take care of all that to make sure it's.
Thank you.
know, up to- You're welcome.
We thank you
Thank you. I appreciate it, giving me
for
the
coming
opportunity.
before us. I understand some things a little bit better. And, like I say, we can't give you everything you ask for, but we're gonna do our best, because we wanna see great things happen with law enforcement here in Jasper County.
And there was one other thing I wanted to mention in regards to,
Okay.
before you close. There were, he talked about the vehicle out the different shop. Dr. Brantley brought this up, and we have a vehicle with some front-end damage right now that's sitting up at one of the local shop that has over $2,000 worth of front end that need to be repaired, ball joints, everything that, everything you can possibly think of. It's about $2,000 right now. We're waiting, we haven't been able to do any work on it as of yet.
Any particular reason?
Well, the,
I'm sorry.
They're waiting to find out if county maintenance can replace the ball joints and the control arms on it, or if county is gonna let the local shop do that. It's becoming a more and more of an issue with the fleet that we have. Last week, we had one blow a radiator sitting in the parking lot at the sheriff's office, and that's like the third one this month. It's just an ongoing issue now, so.
Okay.
We thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And, you know, we try to keep business here in Jasper County,
Yes, ma'am.
but everything local ain't good.
Sometime.
Bottom line. Sometimes we have to reach out to other people to be sure we're getting exactly what we are being paid, what we are paying out.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
We
so we
appreciate
don't have anything against the local shops here in Richland, but sometimes we got to go abroad.
So true. Thank you very much. I appreciate y'all
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Stay safe out there.
Yeah. Miss Monica Wilson.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you all for making time to allow me to come and speak. I'm here basically today to ask for another person in the auditor's office. As Mr. Malphus has stated, Madam Chairman, Jasper County is growing, and everywhere you look, there's new housing developments. There are apartments on Argent Boulevard, Latitude, Margaritaville is constantly growing, Sun City. And to each of those apartments and homes comes at least 2 vehicles. We have been working nonstop with the ladies that I do have in the office. However, with COVID, things have been extremely busy, meaning that there are more and more calls that are coming in. Everyone are doing things online. Now that we have reopened, there are some people that are coming in, but the phone calls, the online, and now with the new legislation that has approved for the boats and motors to be coded monthly along with the vehicles, the numbers are overwhelming. There are 3 ladies that's in my office, and we are all working diligently to get it done, but another person would definitely help out. I've had complaints about the phones not being answered, or if they leave a message, it's taking a day or 2 to call back, and it's because we are overwhelmed with the amount of calls that we do have coming in. I love Jasper County. I do anything that I can to help it. I work extremely hard along with the ladies that are in the office, but with an extra person, it can help relieve some of the stress that we are currently facing right now. Again, on a monthly basis, we are coding vehicles, which can be 35 to 4,000 vehicles a month. On top of that, now are boats and motors. I wish Mr. Sauls was here. There's a lot of boat and motors that are coming to us from DNR database. We're sending those bills out, but we're getting a lot of complaints that they do not own them anymore. So in that case, we're having to take time, and if I could get that extra person that can focus on making sure that we are not sending out bills to taxpayers that do not own these boats anymore. We are working hard with DNR, have built a relationship, but again, some of the information that they're sending to us is incorrect. So we have forms that we've developed to send out to taxpayers, but even with that, it's still hard to keep up with the amount of boats and motors that are coming in. Jasper County businesses is constantly growing as well. An extra person, when someone calls and they're opening a business or very well stating that they're closing a business, I want to be able to go out and verify that information. There's the laundromat that's off of Highway 17 right there in Hardyville as you go in that reported a PT 100 stating that they were closed. For those of you that live there, you do see that they are very well open and they're running. With an extra person, I will be able to go out, verify this, take pictures so that I can prove to these taxpayers that no, sir, you are still open and you are very much in business. But with the amount of people that I have now, it's very hard to keep up with the demands of what is going on in the county. So do you all have any questions for me?
Question, Madam Chair. Ms. Wilson,
Yes, sir.
how would you address a situation where, that you just mentioned to us, persons who are in operation,
Mhm.
but yet report to you that they no longer exist?
Okay.
What would you, how could you handle that? What could you do about that?
If I had a designated person to handle the businesses, when it's being reported they are closed, we can use one of the vehicles to actually go out and verify that. We can go to the property. As the auditor, we can actually go inside the building to also audit what the taxpayers are submitting. We can go out, we can take pictures, and if
Okay,
need
so,
be,
and as a result of your assessment, then what?
then they are taxed according to what the assessment that has been made. Because what has happened previously is when they report that they're no longer in business, we would just take that particular company out of the system.
Okay, and if they're not in agreement with your assessment, then what?
They can always appeal it to a higher court.
I see. Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
If a person, using that example, that would be in Hardyville, correct?
Yes, sir.
Would you call Hardyville and ask if they have a business license first?
Yes.
And if they do?
If they do, then again, I will go out to that location. I would have a camera to take pictures, and also I will be able to go inside of that particular business to also back up the assessment that I will then provide them.
Didn't you was it the assessor or the auditor got a part-time person? Was that last year?
That was not the auditor.
Madam Chair, that was the assessor's
The
office.
assessor's office.
Conversion, I think, part-time to full-time.
Yes.
So you did get an extra, you got an extra,
I did,
The assessor's office.
the assessor.
the assessor's, okay, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, if I could say one other thing too. You may remember the previous auditor never really got that going, but there was also an issue which I'm sure is getting worse as well, the growth in people registering vehicles in Georgia, living here,
Right.
people moving here and claiming that they're part-time residents but having a vehicle that's here, that's licensed in another state. I think there's revenue out there that
Correct.
we could be receiving if she had some sort of
Another
enforcement.
part. Absolutely.
Would that be not the code enforcement person?
I would see it as, she's indicating that this person would be business oriented.
Correct.
The other item is, we continue to do fee-in-lieu tax agreements that are tricky, that she needs somebody to be trained in, I think, so we're sure we're billing the right things. So if you have a business oriented person, I would see that person working with the code enforcement officer to enforce those statutes.
So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
So you don't really know who owned that building then? The laundromat?
Yes, I can. I can actually see who owns it because I can contact the city of Hardyville to actually see who purchased the business license.
Because what you just said a while ago that they say they're no longer in business, and that place booming.
Exactly,
You
exactly.
know, I mean, 'cause I pass through there all the time, and that place stay packed during the day and late in the evening. I mean, it's scared full.
Exactly.
You know, 'cause I done stop in there a couple of times and wash my vehicle. You know, so somebody got to be getting that fund.
Exactly.
You know, for them to stay busy like that, because that place open 7 days a week.
They never close.
You know.
So if that business is there, how many more are there? And if I had that extra person that can focus on doing that, then these businesses can actually be taxed according to them being in operation.
That's true.
Which in turn will mean more revenue for the county.
In other words, the position would pay for itself.
Absolutely.
And if the position doesn't pay for itself, what happens?
Oh, it will. It's a lot of work in the auditor's office. just
No,
trying to get the
I'm talking about
business.
finding these people out there. You say this person is gonna be business oriented, and if they don't find these people, if you come back next year with your budget, and I ask you, well, how many people did y'all track down? And you say, oh, about 2 or 3. That means the job wasn't done. How would we handle that?
Well, there's no way for it not to be done, because there's too many businesses that's out there. And allude to the business personal property along with, also with the vehicles, making sure that the people that are within the county themselves are actually being taxed. In itself, it will pay. There's no way in my mind that this position will not pay for itself, because we're constantly losing revenue. There's so many vehicles in itself that I know you all have seen constantly that are on the roads but are still tagged out of state. But clearly, they're living here in Jasper County.
I ain't see nobody, cause ain't nobody burning down my house.
Do I need to come to your house?
I ain't see it. Yeah, you can come to my house anytime. And I ain't seen nobody. Okay,
Well, I want to thank you all for giving me the
Thank
opportunity
you.
to present.
and see, I told you we would get you out on time.
Yes, ma'am. I thank you so very much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Okay. Any questions?
Madam Chairman, I just have a question, and it's more, last meeting, I guess I can put this in now or later, but last meeting, we took the money out for the airport and put in with the airport, correct? So now it's gonna go through the airport. Yet when I looked on the budget, it hadn't been changed for the second reading.
Madam Chair, if I could do that, I did not get distinct impression that that was a council decision to do that. We had the discussion about it, and Ms. Burgess has made some internal movements to account for that. You want to explain that?
Yes, what I did, which we can talk about now, is I have these adjustments that I've made on a spreadsheet that includes all of those. And there were a couple of things that.
Did you have one for us?
There's a couple of things that council will need to determine some of the things that we talked about previously. And the council will need to determine what we go forward with and how we go forward with those. So, I did not make a new budget per se yet, because I knew we wanted to talk about this and just see the result of it. So we had we transferred the code enforcement officer. That was basically just one expenditure to another. The airport, the sheriff personnel that was for the airport. So we took that, we left that in the sheriff's department. So what we did was we had a reimbursement from the airport to the sheriff, similar to what we do with the SRO officers. So the expense or the expenditure is in the sheriff's department because that's where the management and control of that employee is and remains. However, in order to indicate that it is an expenditure of the airport, there's a line item, or can be a line item that says reimbursement for sheriff's department security officer, and then you would see that offsetting revenue in the sheriff's department.
Madam
So
Chairman?
that would be the 140,000.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair? You know, I agree with that movement, but what I think it should be, just be the other way around. You give the money to the airport, and the airport makes a decision whether they want to go to the sheriff or they want to go outside. I mean, if we don't do it the way you're doing it, we have no control. There's no control. In fact, we give them more money than what I'm trying to get at is, in the past, we've always complained, at least everybody I've heard has complained that, you know, once the sheriff gets the money, we have no say-so. Well, in the way, if you give it to the airport, and the airport contracts with the sheriff, and if it's not being done, he can pull the contract. And do we really need a full-time sheriff with a car and guns and all this, or can we hire somebody to do it and at a cheaper point? And on top of that, we need 15 people, and we're asking for 2 more. That's 17 people. And are we really going to get that 17 people? That's mine. That was the reason for me wanting to put it into the into the airport and let the airport do the contracting, whatever. And I go with the council, but that was the reasoning for it.
I didn't have that in my notes as far as all of that reasoning. I just had.
Yeah, I understand.
I wanted to move the personnel to the airport, which, like I said, similar to the SRO, there's a contract that the sheriff has with the school district, and there's a reimbursement from the school district to the sheriff for the personnel assigned to the school.
So the school doesn't have the contract with the sheriff's department, it just transfer of money.
Yeah, they have a contract.
Okay.
You're proposing the same thing here. It's just a matter of the operations versus the budget, how it's presented in the budget. I think we're saying the same thing here.
Okay. You understand what I'm trying to get at?
Yes, sir.
That we have control
I certainly
where
do.
we wouldn't have control.
I certainly do, but I think Ms. Burgess is proposing to write something up with the sheriff that talks about that relationship.
Okay. All right. What else?
And then I did move the loan payment, the airport construction loan payment.
Yeah.
To the airport, took out of capital improvement. And I also added, I noticed when I did that I did not have a sufficient, that amount is usually paid from the accommodations and local hospitality tax. And I did not have a sufficient amount included in the budget. I had $150,000. So I increased that to the $280,000. And then I removed the part, these are the plans we talked about, removing the new personnel for the original fire contract, which was reduced to $100,000. And then the other was there was some correction and adjustment. Oh, I'm sorry. So correct and adjust the 2.5% of the cost of living adjustments that we had that were included in there for some of the elected officials, the magistrates, probate judge, and then the council as well. So I went back and corrected that. Then, of course, as you go through any budget, and it could change every time you look at it, and there were some other adjustments we had. I increased the Marsh Cove construction loan by $10,000 because we now have information that will be, the Marsh Cove Fire Station will be delayed longer than September. And the sheriff, who didn't mention it here, but he, as we were going over his budget, realized that they had left out the computer equipment for the vehicles, so that's another $183,000. So those changes have been made as well. And there are some ins and outs as far as the accommodations tax revenue. And then we also added $7,000 for an employee assistance plan, I believe is what it's called, an EAP. And then there were just some miscellaneous adjustments I had to make it balance.
You mentioned also that the council had talked about some individual positions, about reapproaching the consultant for the salary study,
Right.
and the purpose, I think, has budgeted some funds in anticipation of the
I-
results of that.
I have, it's not included in this number that you have, but in anticipating that you would do that, I did put some money in there, yes.
So we have a cushion for that. As soon as we get that, we'll give that to you. So
Okay.
you have that in consideration.
And I don't see on here where you made the adjustment for the car, in the coroner's budget.
I did not, that was about $5,000, I believe. I did not make that.
$5,000 some dollars, 600.
Yes, ma'am, if you want me to do that, I can do that. I can tell you that the coroner has come back wanting an additional deputy, and that would be another, he's requested another $40,000 for an additional, so that would be a second deputy coroner. He already has one in the budget, and he already has a part-time administrative assistant.
In the budget workshop, when we did the budget workshop, it was either or. If he wanted the secretary, fine, he could use the 20-something thousand for that. If he didn't want that, then he could get his
Vehicle.
second thing. It's two positions. We
Oh, okay,
decided
so-
on only two positions. We're not gonna give him three.
Well, he emailed me after that budget workshop
Well,
and said he
I
was
mean, they
requesting an
gonna
additional
email
one.
you and they're gonna write you and call you too.
Okay.
But, huh?
What budget workshop?
The one you didn't show up to, my friend?
No, the one that you didn't inform me. Who's responsible for informing?
Nobody. They sent it to you by email and you was the one wanted the workshop.
That's correct, but I didn't get any notification. None.
Well, that's,
We'll talk about that.
my councilman, I don't know how you gonna get your, thing. I'm to the point with you that I feel like maybe I just need to come to your house and bring you your notice.
Well, that would be fine if that's
Because
necessary.
if that, yeah, because you keep saying you don't get it, but all of us get it.
And it is strange that everyone else knows about.
And you
about
don't
it. I
know.
don't know. That's a fact.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It is extremely strange.
Madam
Yeah.
Chairman, I have a few questions. On the sheriff, a little confusing, I'm sure it's cleared up, it's just that I don't understand. With the tasers, they're getting all the tasers they want, correct?
Yes, sir. What they put in their request was the total amount of the lease for 5 years. And I went back and just put a single year's lease, and then, or 7 years, I believe it was. And then next year, there will be another lease payment. So that reduced what he had in there, but all the tasers are in there, yes, sir.
Would it behoove us to go in with Hardyville, because they're doing the same thing, exact same thing, and have a bigger contract, maybe at a cheaper price? I'm just asking. I mean, that's something we should look at.
I don't know.
Well, him and Sam is working together.
I understand,
So
but
if it's
but
gonna
they're-
be, they'll come up, if it's cheaper.
Okay,
they'll
I just
know.
want to make sure that somebody
They're working
asks
together.
them
They'll know.
to
They'll
look at
see.
that.
Yeah.
And the last question, on payroll, when you did the payroll, is that for a full 12 months? Those dollars for a full 12 months,
The payroll for
for the sheriff?
For
For the, is the
for the
payroll
entire
for
payroll?
the
Yes.
full 42 for 12 months?
Yes.
Can we change that to, because we're not going to get all in 12 months. What I would like to see is some of that money taken out and either hire somebody to help them recruit, as well as with the fire department, because that's one of the most dangerous things we have. We have too few sheriff, and I'm sure the chief can say we need people, we need at least 6 more. And are you full staff, chief?
Madam Chairman. Mr. Kemp, in